everybody. My name is Aisha Rashid Hyman. I'm the founder of Bodo Studio. This is my, okay, it's Rochelle. Okay, as I'm giving my little intro, I'm gonna shout out one of my North Stars, actually. So I'm gonna tell a story. I'm trying not to choke up. So Bodo Studio is a passion project of mine. I've been dreaming about it for probably 20 years and just didn't have the time, space, or real commitment yet, or bravery really, to start it. And long story short, I had a health event a couple of years ago, and that really was the catalyst for me to just say, okay, let's like, life is short. Do what you need to do what you're meant to do. And I wasn't sure where to start. I had a lot of ideas, but not exactly like how to execute them. And because my background is in business, for 20 years I was an executive for PBS and NPR, so I have a lot of business background, but not in this field, not in textiles or interiors or any of that. So one of the people that I have admired for many, many years is here, and I'm like, oh, I'm just so thrilled to be here. It's been amazing to watch somebody who I used to see do this kind of event locally blow up to the point where she's in big box retailers, West Elm, and Bed Bath & Beyond, and like any major retailer you can think of, they're her client, they're her customer. So to watch her do that, it seemed like almost no time. It just like, I know to you it seemed like a while, but to me it was like, wow. It showed me what is possible. That's why I say you're a North Star for me, because you showed me what's possible. But then on top of that, you know how sometimes people blow up and then they act like they don't know you? What I really appreciate is that she never did that. And in fact, I just reached out to her out of the blue when I knew it was time for me to like really take this seriously, and asked her would she sit down with me. And she sat down with me and had a coaching session for me over dinner with me. For me, it was coaching. But just thank you for being here. You have to Google her, go to her website. I just think it's incredible.
What is it?
It's
RochellePorter.com.
Yeah. But I think are you wearing your brand right now?
I am.
Yeah, that's her brand.
Yes.
That's her print. She makes her own prints. And these big box retailers contract with her to have her designs on their on products in their stores. And I just love knowing if I walk into one of those big box retailers, I can buy a product that was designed by somebody that I know, a Black woman that I know. So thank you this is like a big deal for you to be here.
First of all, I did barely anything. You had everything you needed already, and I'm so proud of you and everything you've accomplished in such a short time.
Thank you.
And I literally did nothing.
You,
she had it all inside of her. It just had to come out. And
thank you so much. But getting affirmation from somebody who's already done it, it helps you know that you're moving in the right direction. And also, you can move faster because you're not wasting time. Like, you gave me some advice that I was able to just really focus and double down on, and I didn't have to waste time on experimenting with things that would have ended up being a failure. So, thank you. All right, so that's my background. Okay, but I'm excited to be here with our very special guest, because what we've been doing on all 3 days of the concept store is having conversations with other women in the textile and design space, particularly Black women in the space. So the first night we had a conversation with Shayna Jackson, who is a master textile weaver. She actually works with the loom and studies and researches that tradition and that practice. And yesterday, I got to be interviewed about Bodo Studio and why I'm doing what I'm doing with Sharice Williams, who has a really wonderful podcast. And Everyday Yellow is her company, and Dreaming in Color is her project. She talks to Black women about their journey to get to committing to their creativity, their creative practice. And so now we get to talk to Carlina Scarboro-Vazquez, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background, because we have some really incredible artists in our community here in Atlanta, and I don't know if we all know how incredible the artists are in our community. Like, we know some, but we don't know.
Right.
There's so many.
It's a lot.
You don't always know who's in your midst, and I want you to know who's in your midst, because you're some serious artists here. Carlita Scarboro-Vazquez is an interdisciplinary artist, educator, for real educator.
Like a for real,
Like, for real, like I went to the
student
school.
right there, right, like student right there.
Awesome, for real. Some people say educator, they don't really teach you.
Right,
For real
educator.
with students, and a technologist based in Atlanta, working at the intersection of traditional craft and digital innovation. Through her creative practice, CVAS Designs, am I saying it right?
That's correct.
She explores identity, cultural narrative, and female empowerment using everything from digital art and photography to mixed media and immersive installations. This is basically a condensed version of your mind.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
At the core of her work is a simple but powerful idea. Art shapes how we live, connect, and understand ourselves. She's also the founder of the Future Seekers, an initiative that blends creativity, technology, and community. Rooted in our Future Seekers.
Yeah, I got a
that's
future
awesome.
seeker. Yeah, I got a future seeker.
Love it, love it.
To my students. Yeah.
So cool, and that's so cool that Future Seekers are here with Rochelle. I mean, I didn't see that.
Yes.
Rooted in STEAM,
Yes.
science,
Technology, engineering, arts, and math.
STEAM.
Yeah.
Her work creates pathways for women in underrepresented communities to thrive in both creative and technical spaces.
That's right.
Okay. As a Spelman College Switch Code Fellow,
Yeah, I worked with someone last semester. Yeah.
Carlita collaborated across disciplines combining visual art, movement, sound, and emerging tech to create immersive extended reality experiences. Y'all. She also brought youth into that process, bridging education, public art, and innovation in meaningful ways. Her work has been featured at Art Basel in Miami Beach.
Yes.
Awesome. Atlanta Art Week.
Yeah.
Empower Her. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, empower her. And I'm
Empower her.
actually doing the residency now up
At the
street.
Central Library?
Yeah, y'all can go see me at Central Library up the street until May. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yes.
And other major exhibitions, including that one. Her work is held in collections including Howard University.
That is correct.
She's currently represented by Violet Theory Art here in Atlanta.
Violet Theory Art, say hello.
Hi,
She's
Violet
holding
Theory.
two phones.
Beyond exhibitions, Carlita leads workshops like Speak Your Mind,
Yes.
helping people explore voice, identity, and storytelling through art and technology. Through all her work, she invites us to imagine a future where creativity and technology are deeply connected and where culture, innovation, and community move forward together. Have I missed anything important?
No, I think you got
I want to make sure we know who we're talking to today. Is that good? Okay. Okay. Well, Carlita, I'm super excited to talk with you. Thank you so much for being here. And so we're gonna get into who you are and what you do and how you do it and why you do it. Okay. So let's talk about your work and how you arrived here. So what first pulled you into doing this? And then if you could just kind of explain to us what we're looking at.
Okay.
So what pulled you into it and what are we looking at?
Okay, so as far as what we're doing right now, as far as textiles, this is my new exploration or rediscovery of textiles. I started doing them like when I was younger with my grandparents, with my grandma, and doing those types of things where you're doing like sun prints and quilting and reusing, of materials. I went to Japan this summer and they used the wabi-sabi, which is the usage of reusing or repurposing, old things. And that kind of sparked my interest in textiles again. Also, because I've been showing art like internationally and sending stuff all around, it's expensive to send artwork, like, and ship it and send it to different locations and all that stuff. So it became a more
less expensive.
Yeah, it became a more practical. But the process kind of turned into something that was more like a healing process because when you started fooling with the materials and then all the colors and the dyes and everything I use are natural. So everything I'm like putting my hands on, and then it became very cathartic. And then it kind of took me, away from being in just the fast-paced digital world. It took me back to roots, and I started thinking about, like little stuff your grandma say, everything happens with time, and then, and it takes patience. It is not exact. Every print that you come out with is gonna be a little bit different, but that's okay. And that's the part that I started like finding peace in, because I felt like before in a world where perfection and quickness and fastness is, I needed to kind of check out from that. So that's what brought me here.
I completely relate. I grew up, my mom was a seamstress growing up. She had a sewing business in our house. And so we grew up you know, cutting patterns and threading the machine and all that stuff for her. And I kind of like forgot that I knew how to do that until when my health stuff happened. Sewing was a way for me to like calm down and like meditate almost. I like the problem solving of sewing.
Exactly.
So I get it, how that can come. It's almost like a word puzzle, you know?
Right, it's so cathartic.
Sudoku on the machine.
It's like a relaxing.
Yes, I get it. So let's talk about living stories. Memory, ancestry, identity, conversations across space and time. How does storytelling show up in your work?
It's all over. It's all over. If you start looking at some of the pieces and stuff I have up here, this is like one of the future seekers, and you can see the eye and everything in it, and then you have what is semblance of the United States. We're not going to say it is. And then you have like the crops and the roots and everything like that. So I'm constantly telling a story of connecting our younger generation with the older generation. They're like this 100% of the day on their phones, and they're linked into all different kinds of narratives, because who's to say what they're looking at when they're on there. So I feel like my job as an educator, as like being in that space, is to tell the stories but do it in a way that they understand. So with computer science, I'm able to kind of, you know, get them and see their world and then bring it into our world and then start showing them like old techniques, old different ways. Like this is not new. This is old stuff. This kind of thing is cyclical. It's been around before. You just haven't seen it before. And it's my duty at this point to make sure that they understand that and that they see it and that it does not go away. So with this is kind of takes it into a newer, you know, fresher way of looking at it. If they don't understand Kente, they do understand, you know, this particular, you know, pattern. So yeah, that's why.
You mentioned Kente, I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
So if you all feel like we're not loud enough, we can turn the mics on. We don't need it. Okay, y'all can hear us.
Turn them on.
Turn them on. Oh, okay.
Better.
Is that too loud?
No, that's
You turn it down. Okay. So
Sorry.
you mentioned Kente cloth.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, well, let me tell a little bit of a backstory. So Carlita and I are working on something, our first project together. I'm surprised. Can't wait to feel it. But basically, we're, can I say what it is, or do you want to wait? We can wait.
I mean, you can
Just imagine.
Right.
Just imagine.
Because the thing about it is like once they see it, because it's going to be a surprise.
Then let's not. Okay,
Right. It's
imagine.
going to be right. So.
But here's a hint.
Okay.
So you mentioned Kente cloth.
Yeah.
So can you talk about if you see a connection between traditional African or diasporic textiles and the kind of digital immersive work that you're doing?
Yes, the connection is going to be just like when you did quilting and they had stories that they told and they gave messages. I think it's very important that we start messaging, you know, back to our younger generations so they understand the path that we followed. And a lot of it is being taken away or washed away or whitewashed or that type of things. But the one thing I do know, being around students every day, they listen to music every day, they love fashion, you know, they want to make some type of clothes, something like that. So if you start making textiles with things that reference them directly, if you start putting the history in the textiles, then they're like, oh, Ms. B, where you going? Well, cyanotypes came out in the 1800s. And then they have to learn a little bit more about what happened in the 1800s, but then they also have to learn about, you know, like the reason why, you know, like when you're doing the dipping process, that was something that was not traditionally a favorable thing for Black folks, you know, but with that, you start telling the stories, you start putting things together, and then I think it makes a little bit more sense, and then they take a little bit more ownership with it, and then I feel like I'm kind of bridging the gap in my own personal way.
That's amazing. I see some people back there who might need a seat, so there's a couple of chairs up here if you want to come sit, or if you need us to bring you a chair.
Your people are so stylish in here, like a run.
Yeah, they make sure that our elders and anybody who has mobility issues has a seat. Okay, just wanted to make sure y'all were good. Okay. So let's get into the tech.
Okay.
So this is the part that I just think is just like, all of it is exciting, but the tech part to me is like
the
super
tech
intriguing,
part.
because it's just like not my wheelhouse at all.
Right.
I'm barely able to update my phone, so anything technology to me is like absolutely like wizardry to me. So you're working with AI and projection mapping and immersive environments. Like,
Yeah.
how do you stay rooted in your humanness while you're using all this technology?
That
in
one
your art?
right there, just standing in the
Okay,
back, my
okay.
husband, he helps me to stay rooted because I'm a nerd girl, like for real. Like I will, like it's one with the girl with the computer thing on her back and she's floating away. That's me. Like I can.
I love that piece.
Yeah. Because I really can, like, the world is so immersive, and that's the reason why I know for like working with students and stuff that you have to be very careful with that, because you start living in that world so much that your real world is no longer there. So that's the reason why I like stuff like this and being a part of a collective and feeding into something bigger than yourself. You know, and like I said, as an educator, as a disseminator, as I tell them, a disseminator of information. I think it's really important, and being in the AI space, being in the digital space, being like projection mapping, like people are taking in what it is you're putting out, and there's so many negative things that are happening that if I can create an immersive world that for a little while, just for a little while, you can see the positive things, you can see, you know, hope, you know, future strategy, if nothing else. Like if it's not gonna work, at least have a good plan. If I can teach you those things or put that out there in the narrative and make it so that it makes sense, then we're doing good.
Okay, so for those of us who are not very technically savvy, can you break it down for us a little bit? Like what is the immersive world? What does that mean? What are you doing?
Okay, so you
like
have-
in the most layman's way.
Okay, because I can go, like, the other day I like went super nerd, because we started getting into anime and all of that
Act
stuff.
like we know nothing.
Right, okay. So immersive world is basically like, you see how this space is right here that we're actually living, working in? You can actually create avatars, you can actually create like alternate views. So like I can be like WandaVision, you know, in that particular space. And what has happened is that a lot of people have gotten to the point, like, because you can prompt them, you can, you know, make them live.
And this is all through code.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then a lot of it has changed over because you have different types of coding. So you have like node-based coding, which is no longer, you know, the digital stuff where you see the, you know, the ones and zeros and binary and, you know, all the Python and stuff like that. Node-based is like basically an idea that's prompted. So if I took your like visual image, I scanned you over, and then I prompted it and I say, I want to make Aisha, you know, have long lashes and then I can actually alter the image in that way.
Wow.
And so I was talking to one of the ladies here earlier, and we were saying how AI can be good or bad, and it's a hot button topic right now. It's whatever you feed it, it's a machine. And so I think it's important that I help to populate a group of people that know what to feed the machine, because the machine's gonna get fed either way. So if we know what to feed it, how to feed it, and use it in a way that's helping us, growing, you know, like developing us, I think it's a powerful tool.
I'm so glad we have you here in that field, and, you know, one of us in that field.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool, and like this is the one time again that we can be anonymous, because you had that like the Underground Railroad and all that different kinds of stuff. But now stuff has been like, they got movies everywhere now, but online you're 01572 whatever. And if you understand the power of that, don't be just a consumer. Understand how to work it, manipulate it, understand, you know, like the financial markets, understand how certain things shift, how, you know, because it's a whole different world out there. And it's a lot of opportunity that people are just letting go to the side because, well, it's like, no, I don't do nothing. It's what you can do for it.
So your artwork, can you give us just a really high level explanation of how you're creating the art with technology?
I'm doing immersive stuff. So what happened is that I started off doing a lot of things kind of experimentally, and then, like I said, I like using like old stuff and like repurposing it. So, you know, out of necessity, and I like to solve problems. So when I started looking at like waste and, you know, like clothing and like how people are like reusing or not using things and how like landfills, and then when I was working with Spelman, we were doing like the UN laws of sustainability. So I started looking at like more numbers and understanding like, okay, we are killing ourselves like really quickly. So like how can I start doing something that's like a little bit more beneficial to our earth, but then fun, but then also educating. So that's where everything kind of like this whole culmination or this, you know, evolution came.
So so let's talk about maybe this piece here. So are you first designing it elsewhere, and then how's it go from being an image to then being on the textile?
Okay, so what I've been doing with these particular pieces is I'm a painter or a creator by nature, and I'm not a textile person, so I didn't know.
You are now, though.
I am now. Welcome to the textile. But yeah, so I didn't consider myself to be a textile person, so I didn't feel like I needed to make like prints or patterns per se. So I just started creating paintings, I guess, and telling stories and the things that resonated with me the most. I started adding to certain compositions, and I felt like they flowed and just went with it organically. So yeah, I kind of did it more like in a painterly fashion.
Very cool. Okay, so what does access look like in this new creative tech space, especially for Black women and underrepresented communities?
It's an open field if you want to get into it. I think we're not now. Don't expect in the tech field for them to just like, we love you, and they gonna look at you and say, can you get my coffee? Can you go get me some water? They're gonna say you're talking to her, and that's to be honest. And so if you're accepting of the fact that you're not gonna always be embraced, but you know, you still gonna do what you're gonna do, and understand. And I come with a purpose. Like I said, my purpose is not. It has little to do with me at this point. It has everything to do with this next generation that's sitting out there. Like this little part that I got going on right here is I'm just helping. And my grandma did it one way, my mom did it another way. I don't know how they did it, but this is how I feel like I can contribute. Oh, thank you.
Yes, you are. You do an awesome job. For everyone here today surrounded by textiles, design, and creativity, what's one way that each of us can start thinking more expansively about our own creative expression?
Just look at the world for what it is, and don't try to make it extra. Just take, like I said, wabi-sabi. everybody messes up, like, and we mess up like constantly all the time. And then, but if you can put it back together, make it beautiful, and then like what you're doing now, creating these spaces, making it so that we can actually get a message out, that we can actually be heard and seen, I think that's it right there. And then just play it forward. Like for you guys, do the same thing. Like you don't have to do anything like amazing. You don't have to do me. Do whatever it is that you do great, and just keep playing it forward.
Okay, this is the last question for Carlita, and then I might open it up to questions from everybody else, if that's okay. Okay. So I'm always dreaming about my next project. Sometimes I have to make myself finish the current project before I start the next one, because I like to have multiple things going on. But what are you dreaming into next? What should we be paying attention to in your work next? What's next for you? Can you give us a little hint?
Right, look, ADHD go, wow, like I don't know. I come up with like, my husband, he knows like every day, he's like, oh Lord, I got a new idea like every day. And sometimes it spawns off of like connecting, because sometimes I don't really know what the next idea is because I haven't met the person or the inspiration for the next idea. So it just kind of comes as, you know, as I experience more things. And now that we're into textile, maybe I might be doing more textile.
Yes.
You know, maybe
I think we are.
But I want to do some immersive world textile, like, cause I think immersive spaces that you can hang, right? You can hang and drape and something European.
I got something to show you.
You're right, like.
There's this artist, I think she's from Mali.
Yeah.
Who actually, your work actually reminds me of her. Yeah, it's almost like you all are communicating and don't even know.
But see, that's what I'm
Wait till I
talking
show you.
about.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna do a quick rapid fire and then I'm gonna take.
Okay.
If you all have questions, okay. Analog or digital?
Digital.
That was fast.
Sorry, cause digital, you got best of both worlds.
What does that mean?
Right, cause, if you have everything in digital, I can like switch my phone back to analog.
Ah, okay.
So, like I win, I get both.
That's a
Right.
tech person
Okay.
answer, okay. Fabric or spring?
Fabric.
Past or future?
Past.
Why?
Because it determines the future.
Awesome answer, okay. And last one, what's one word for the future of creativity?
Innovation.
Love it. All right, thank you so much, Carlita, and now we're gonna take some questions. Okay, Mina.
Hey, thank you so much. So I love this work. Can
You wanna, before you do your question, do you wanna introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. I am Vina Critchlow. I am a bead artist. This is my work over here. I am grateful to be in this space. And so just a quick background. I was invited by an 82-year-old artist who I adore to go to a cyanotype workshop. I didn't go. And then I traveled to Portugal and I saw it on paper and I bought a piece from this artist, but it fascinates me. And I know it fascinates me because it's indigo. And indigo is just in my blood. It's in all of our blood, right? But it just resonates so deeply within me. And you may have said this, but may have been outside. Can you please explain just briefly the process?
Okay. So what I use is a cyanotype base. It's two chemicals that mix together, and you're light sensitive. So it's pretty much like photography. So what you do is you apply it onto the surface, and depending on the type of material or whatever it'll adhere, you can use. I did two different ways. One was partly sun, and then also because I do engineering, we kind of made a in-house light box that had the LV light using the cardboard box, and then you kind of tape it around, and then that gives you like a strong, like that's gonna be something like this to get a stronger color. Sun will give you more of a bleach kind of color, and then your burn time is going to be determined by like the frequency or like how you're mixing your materials. And I think I was also saying about like the coating, like how you coat the material, but it's a natural process. So it's always going to be a couple of, which I think is the beautiful part of it, is that it's always going to be a little bit different each time.
Is that a stamp, the face, the silhouette?
Yeah, what I ended up doing is that was a digital AI. Like, so what I did is I had a piece of photography. I did a whole piece that had like a digital, her digital interpretation on the side, and then I turned it into a transfer, and I used old transfer. You remember the old machines that they had, the little projection machines? Yeah, it was because I try to use free materials. So I made copies onto that, cut it out, and then started making patterns. And then a lot of the pieces are like cut up pieces of paper or like recycled materials, fabric. Like this fabric you'll see again in the print over there. So whatever I find and whatever resonates with me, I started bringing it in.
Thank you.
Oh no, thank you.
What's your question?
Hi, my name is Annie. I am founder director of the African Textile
Oh,
Museum.
hi.
I am
Good to
so
see
happy
you.
to be here and to see
Thank you for
this.
coming.
Yes, my brother told me about you guys here yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
What? Somebody said, what? I'm so happy. So I spent a lot of time in Africa learning the processes and techniques, which is why I developed it. Thank you. Which is why I developed the museum, because everything in our museum is biodegradable and sustainable, and everything is made with nature. So that was the profound thing for me. I'm dealing with fabrics made from the bark of a tree, from mud, from coconut, from mushrooms, you know, it's just so many things that are happening now with textile. So do you actually use the indigo further or for your indigo, or do you actually?
I'm not using the indigo further because that one, unfortunately, because it has a blooming process that you have to go through, and right, it'll dye my hand some awful when I ask about to go to work, like the next day. So I try to use the cyanotype because it's a slightly quicker.
What is it called?
Cyanotype.
Cyanotype.
Yes, CYANO.
Okay.
And it's a quicker process. It is more of a photographic process, and I feel like I had a little bit more control with the product. But I love the indigo blooming process. It just takes.
Wow.
It is take because it goes by layer. Like the actual dye process is a little bit different because with that you have layer upon layer. So every time you dip is why, and then that's the other part that I was trying to explain to students too, because we went to Vazquez Island. I don't know if you've been there, but that's the home of the Black Indians, and so they showed the blooming process there. And a lot of the slaves, that's what they ended up having to do, but the dyeing process also caused them to get sick. Because in order to get like denim or like that dark blue denim from like Levi's, you gotta dip several times, dip, dry, then restart the process again, dip, dye. And then if you do that several times and it goes into your bloodstream, that's,
Yeah,
So
that's why we have to be more protective.
Exactly. But it's a beautiful process, but I kind of skipped the line a little bit. With
Only because
certain-
I did my work in Africa, and you know, everything there is from the earth, so I just learned that way. But I really would love to learn about this process.
I love it.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
No problem.
Any other? Hey, JR. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, how you doing? My name is John Robinson. I'm an author, MC, educator, etc. I love what you said about your purpose being very driven towards the future young people and what they got going on. I feel the same way. And I wanted to ask you to just expound a little bit more, because I also love what you said about AI and how you're basically helping young people to think about it and how they're putting things into this machine, but more positive things, more things that they want to come out with productive outcomes. So can you explain just a little more of what you're doing with that?
No worries. Yeah, so what I do with my students, a lot of times I work at Redan High School,
Okay.
which is a Title I school. I work in CTAE, which is Career Technical Institute. So what I try to do is get kids ready for jobs,
Got it.
basically.
Got it.
Like, we gonna skip the line, okay, maybe you went to class, I don't know. But we're gonna make sure that you get a job. And so a lot of times what I do is I do what's called bottom-up training. So I see what it is that you can do already. So when I have my future seekers, a lot of times I'll bring them in and I already, like, cause I had AV, I had sound, lighting, like my kids came in and did everything, but they don't know that's a real job. So I brought them in as future seekers, intern students. They did the job. Now I have evidence of them doing the job. They worked with Spelman College, which means they can get a internship, which means now they can get a job doing what they didn't know they were already doing. So that's basically what I do. And so, like, I was just at the Kia factory on Friday of last week. Same thing again. Bring it back to the lab. I'm like, okay, we need to have this manufactured, put together, or whatever. Now I actually have evidence or something that I can actually send in for a job, so they can actually get work. Because a lot of them are like, I can't find a job. Yes, you can. You're already doing it. Same thing with like music production, clothing, fabric. Like they right, Julian? They're already doing it, but it's just like for our kids, a lot of times you don't have that person, or mama's working. They busy, like, and not trying to be funny, but they got other stuff to do, so they need you to go ahead and do what you're supposed to do. And so that's what I do.
Amazing, thank you.
Oh yeah, no worries, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay. You might
I don't know
introduce
if I can.
yourself?
No, I don't mind. Alicia Solomon. I'm a marketing manager by trade in the medical device field, but I'm also aspiring writer as well as creative consultant in general. So I love what you said about bridging the gap, because that's exactly what I heard when you first started talking. And then second, I'm a very strong proponent of STEAM. When Spelman first introduced that program several years ago, I'm like, yes, the art, is integral in that part.
Yeah.
And my question is, can you just expand a little bit more about I think you said photo mapping? It was like you mentioned immersive.
Projection mapping.
Projection mapping.
Yeah,
Can you
projection
expand a little
mapping.
bit more?
Projection mapping is when you use the process of basically, you know how you have an old projector where you just have something like cast onto the wall, but then you can actually shape it in a way that it actually fits the particular area. So let's say you have this white wall right here and you got a projector that's going over there, but you only want to have a circle showing. That is projection mapping, because you're going to map out the particular area that you want it to go to and then project to it. And so that's what we ended up doing, and we created like 4 different interactive walls. One, you know, so that when the dancers got in front, then it casted that particular image, then it went to the next wall, and that type of thing. And that's what I was talking about. Like, those are main jobs. Like, they can work right up here at the film studios, everything like that. Those are real jobs. So us doing that and showing that level of skill is, yeah, is what we're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You mind introducing yourself?
I'm Kara Johnson. I go to Vivian High School. I know that Julian is a former student of yours, but I haven't personally met you yet, Miss B. But I do come to his class sometimes and see all the cool like instruments and stuff you have there. What are the instruments and machines? I want to ask, how long have you been educating for?
You don't make me put up numbers. Actually, look, signed contract for 15 years. Yeah, 15 years in like public education, and then I don't know, like in regular life education. Long time. Like I say, listen to old people. They know stuff. Listen to old people. Yeah, because that's what I say. Like I've been a formal educator for 15 years, but I've been listening to mom, grandma, aunties for a long time. So listen to old people. Yeah.
Got any more?
And come to the lab. When you come in, you come on Monday. I'll be there Monday.
I can meet you there.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Any other questions? Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Christopher Swain, City of East Point, Arts and Culture. I just wanted to ask you, do you do custom work with the fabric?
I do.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk.
Okay, good.
Shelley Dalfor. I am a human resources leader at an IT tech company. So all the AI stuff you're talking about, totally understand where you're coming from. And if we don't sort of start to step into it, lean into it more, it's gonna move way ahead of us and we're gonna be so far behind. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I work for a big tech company. But my question for you is, in my head, I'm like a designer myself. So I know you teach a lot of young people. Do you teach this to grown people? Like, do you ever have like workshops or DIY stuff or whatever fun? Sip and paint, whatever, but this version of it.
Well, as most people that know me, I'm like an open source person, because I feel like whatever, like, I'll teach you everything I know, because I feel like I'll learn something from you. And that's the reason why I say I never have like one particular idea that's in mind, because I don't know what I can learn from you. So yeah, I'll teach you. Like, I don't mind, like, because everybody is going to interpret it in a different type of way. And so even though I teach you the skill or the pathway of doing something, you're going to interpret it and make it beautiful in your own way. And then it's going to be something that I probably didn't know that I needed to know when I sit with you, that that will be my next path that I go on to.
Good, so the answer is yes, and I can bring girls
Yes.
or whomever.
Yes. The answer is yes. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay.
I like your jacket.
Thank you. DIY.
Yeah.
So the reason I asked everybody to introduce themselves before they ask their questions is because I wanted you all to know who's in the room. I think it's so cool that we have an HR head of HR from an IT company sitting here talking to Carlita, who has the future seekers here in the room too. So how wonderful is that? Yeah, all these great connections we get to make. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Your mind is so amazing.
Oh, no, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Your mind is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And I agree with this sister here. Like I would love to take a class.
Oh, yeah, I would love to.
Okay, we all want to take a class. Oh, okay, you have a whole class.
We will be providing workshops.
And so it is. And your manager?
Yes, we will be providing workshops very soon at Central Library as well. So once everything, yes ma'am, so once everything is live, you can look on our website at violettheoryart.com. Okay? We would love to have you all.
And tell us your name again.
Aisha Bright.
Aisha Bright.
I'm her manager.
And what's up, the name of your company?
I'm the owner of the Violet Theory Art Company. I represent artists internationally, and she's one of my favorite.
All right, well, thank you once again. Oh, go ahead.